feeling you like me, I can see it in your eyes. I got a feeling that you are my beautiful surprise. And when you smile, I think you're so good looking.
So many people live in Hollywood, and we're interviewing another one. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What's your name?
Ted Jewell.
Ted
Jewell.
Jewell. Ted Jewell. That's a nice name.
That is a nice
That's
name.
different. And so, were you born here in Hollywood?
I was born in New York.
New York. Oh, from the East Coast like me. And that's where you live, Andrew. And so, what brought you west?
My wife was a Ford model in New York, and she said it's time to get in the movies, so we came to Hollywood.
Oh my
And that was in 1966.
Oh, 1966. Get Smart was still on TV. It's a great show too.
It was indeed.
Love it. So your wife, a Ford model, is sort of brought you out here. That's what started that.
Well, we were in grammar school together, in high school together, in college together, and whatnot, and traveled the world and worked as a model, and my work as a caricaturist and whatnot. We get around. We did the whole thing. But we came out here. She was in a number of TV shows. She was one of the original stars of Star Trek.
What?
You were going to ask me about that.
I had no idea. No, wait. I'm a bit of a Trekkie myself. What
Yeah, well, you went to Hollywood. This is Hollywood.
Oh, sure, but I don't always hear that.
She was Drusilla on the episode Bread and Circuses in the second year.
Oh, okay. I'm racking my brains.
There was a god, a sun god, and it didn't.
Oh, it sounds amazing. Yeah, I better look that up now. But I'm sure I've seen it. Talk about live long and prosper. Seriously. And so you're a caricaturist. Now,
Yes,
what exactly does that mean? What do you do?
My mother was an artist, and I grew up in museums and things, and in art colonies. And when my father was an executive, I didn't understand what he was doing. I lived with the art thing. And when I was young, then a man came in 1947, I believe, to Rockport, Massachusetts, in the art colony. I was 13 years old, and he was drawing caricatures, and I watched him for weeks, and I was hooked. And I just drew these things over and over again, training eye-to-hand coordination and whatnot. I went to college, and the fraternity brother said, "I see you're a caricaturist." And he took me down the Jersey Shore, and oh boy, did I have fun. I worked all the way up. By the end of the summer, I was in New York City, and came out here and did all. And I worked for Bob Hope and Liz Taylor. I worked for President Reagan. I worked for President Carter. I worked for all the others. I don't know.
Oh my God!
Ask me about Vedanta. That's what I'm interested
okay.
in.
That's good. Thank you for what brought you to Vedanta. What?
I was in college in Boston. I was living in a dormitory, a hotel in Boston, and down the street was the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity. I joined that. Between the two of them was the Vedanta Society of Boston, and I started going in there. Fallen was right next door, and they were speaking of peace and love and things that were appealing to a young idealist, which I was, and so now I'm still here all these years later, and it's just barrels of fun. And this is a lovely place. There's a beautiful temple here. Anybody watching this wants to see a beautiful temple and some fine work, this is the place to come. It's high in the hill overlooking all the action down on Hollywood Boulevard.
Thank you so much for being so wonderful. You're doing great. I wish you the best future for you and the missus.
Thank you.
And clarify his name one more time.
Oh yes, your name that you said Ted Jewell?
Jewell, yeah. And her name is Lois Jewell. She passed away 4 years ago.
Oh, I was afraid of that. I'm
there
sorry.
You go.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ted.
Indeed.
God bless.
God bless.
That was
It's still there. It's still there. It's still there. Okay, now it's gone.
That was a remnants of some beautiful food that I've eaten here, right in the Vedanta Temple, Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. And with me right now is Swami Maha Yogananda. He is one of the main swamis here who seems to run the whole show.
I'm actually one of the junior swamis here who is assisting the head swami to run the show.
He's assisting the head swami to run the show. And I've met the head swami, as you know, Jeremy, who's holding the camera right now. The head swami is a lovely man. Jeremy is unwanted. Andrew Jeremy Show sing. He's a lovely man.
That's right.
It's not right, Jeremy.
Amen.
They treat us so nicely here when we come and visit. And hey, this is good for the Vedanta Temple. Anyone who listen to this, when you come to Hollywood, come and visit the Vedanta Temple, because it's universal. Vedanta is universal. And this particular tradition, which comes from the Ramakrishna tradition, one of the first members of the American Society that started this is none other than Aldous Huxley. Aldous Huxley. Yes. Now we'd like to expound on that phrase, I would say.
Well, that was in the 1940s, or late 1930s, 1940s. A number of the British expatriates, including Aldous Huxley, Gerald Heard, and Christopher Isherwood, all came here and entered the spell of Swami Prabhavananda, the Swami who was teaching here, who had founded the society. And they all became his students, and they all practiced meditation according to his instructions. Christopher Isherwood, we can say, really stuck with it to the end of his life. Aldous went his own way a little bit afterwards, with some drugs also and all that. And Gerald Heard also was really a deep man, a deep seeker. And his name is probably the least well known today, but he was equally well known, along with Aldous Huxley and Christopher Isherwood, as a deep thinker and writer. And so that was part of what brought Vedanta into the mainstream, and at least the ideas of Vedanta. Because that brought today karma is a household word. Reincarnation is widely. There's a lot of interest in it. If not everybody may accept it, but there's a lot of interest in it. All these things have their roots in Vedanta.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and you heard it right there from the Swami, and I will back that up. I like to say that Christopher Isherwood, he's the co-author of a book called The Song of God, which is an ideal version of the Bhagavad Gita if you ever want to read it. It's very simple and short, and I like that, simple and short. Anyway, I'd like to end up this little interview by saying thank you very much to Swami Mahayogananda for being a good sport and being on the Andrew and Jeremy Show.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Swami.
All blessings to you and to everyone who happens to listen to our conversation.
God bless.
It's Jeremy again, and I'm here now interviewing Rockin' Ricky. That's what I want to call him.
We'll go with that. I like it.
So, Ricky, where are you from?
I'm originally from Florida, and now me and my wife live in Hollywood. And I guess to wrap in the whole Vedanta context, as you can tell, I like the Beatles a lot, the haircut.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I started to learn the sitar about like a year and a half ago, and my sitar teacher and her family are all devotees of Ramakrishna. So through that sort of context, when I moved to Hollywood, found the Vedanta Temple, and yeah, I mean, just lovely community. You just talked to Swami Mahayogananda,
Yes.
and yeah, just fantastic.
Well, I'll agree with that.
We
I'm
love
glad
being
you feel that
here.
way. That's great. Thank you. And now, is that what brought you out here? This way of life, the temple, or was it something else I thought I heard as well?
When I was, I'm about 25 now. When I was about 16, I started making YouTube videos.
Oh.
So I'm a drummer, and then sort of through that whole social media, I guess, booming, and like, you know, really around that time when I was a teenager, like social media and YouTube and that whole craze of internet content and such, I kind of wound up in that wave one way or another. Ended up in Hollywood by the time I was like 17, 18, and since then, ups and downs, and up the coast and down the coast and to the East Coast and back, and all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I'm here the same reason you're here. This is the place to be. Entertainment.
Entertainment, yes. And what is your core music, your root music, or is there one?
I would say, as a drummer, I just love. As funny as it is, I love things like Motley Crue and Poison and like the big 80s hard rock sort of vibe. So I'm like a very much like a hard hitting kind of drummer, and like that's the foundation. But I'm like, obviously we're here at Vedanta singing kirtan. I love that. I love the Beatles. We all, it's very diverse, but that hard rock drumming is like kind of my foundation.
Well, that's cool. We got to have a talk later about stuff because we have very much the same taste here going on.
There we go.
That's excellent. Yes. Ricky, thank you for being such a lovely interview.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Namaste, Om Shanti.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Andrew and Jeremy Show. The Andrew and Jeremy Show with Andrew and Jeremy behind the camera. Don't move the camera. But we're here in the tunnel under the freeway, the main freeway that goes through Hollywood. And this is what the kind of effect that you get. Stay there. Boop, boop, boop.